Hey, welcome to the Total Schmidt Show. How you doing? What's going on? It's Tuesday night. It's 6 o'clock. We are live tonight. Live. Well, not for all of you. Oh, I got to turn that off. There's the first mistake of the night. If you're watching this on Tuesday, we recorded this live stream with Patreon members only on Saturday. If you're here, if you're signing in, if you're here to watch the show and talk and comment, welcome. Welcome. Steve Mazan. He'll be the guy. Sit back. Enjoy the show. Welcome. Hey, welcome to the Total Schmidt Show. Whether you're watching on the Lenny Schmidt Comedy Network on YouTube or you're listening on podcast, we have a new intro, new theme song. Let's do this. Hey, tune in every week as I travel the world and I talk to entertainers from all over the world. A lot of writers, a lot of comics, a lot of dancers, a lot of singers, a lot of comics, a lot of producers, a lot of tech people, a lot of comics, a lot of pianists, piano player type people. You know what I'm talking about. Musicians and lots of comics. Every once in a while, we'll throw in a comedy sketch, something like that, some music, some travel stuff. We'll even do a live remote from one or two of the ports they happen to be hanging out at. That's it. That's the whole show. And I'm going to record it all and put it on the intraweb. Sometimes. Usually late. Always late. Maybe. I don't know. And weekly? No. Maybe. Sort of. Either way, sit back, grab a beer, light a joint, and enjoy this week's episode of Yeah! Hey, it's been a long time since I did the live intro, and I was here for the live intro. It's kind of cool. It's bringing me back to COVID. This is what we did during COVID, was live shows. I had live guests. I made numerous mistakes. It looks like I'm making no mistakes. So far, things are going well. Thanks for coming to the show. If you are watching on YouTube, again, we did this show live on Saturday nights. Total Schmidt Show streams live twice a month, once for members only on Patreon and subscribers, and once publicly. That's two, but twice publicly. Our next public show will be with Jimmy Pardo on October 17th. He will be here live on a Tuesday. But if you're a Patreon member, this is what we're doing now. This show, it's actually Saturday night. I'm taping this show with my friend Steve Mazan, who will be out here in a second. And you guys can jump on board and ask questions. And if you're here, be involved in the live taping of the show. And then the show is reproduced or edited and put up as the episode this coming Tuesday. So that's how it's going to work. That's how we're doing. So watch the show. If you do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Like all the videos, or like this video in particular. Subscribe to the channel. I got tons of content on here. I've got this. I've got my first special, Live With It. Also coming back next month, if you watch the show regularly, or if you have watched the show, Big Schmidt, Little Schmidt, which is a podcast with me and my daughter, and that'll be on Wednesdays. Besides that, man, if you're listening on podcasts, thank you. Subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a whole ton. Folks, our first guest, I did his podcast just not too long ago. Just, 30 days ago. I don't know, a month, 5 weeks, a few weeks. We worked together in a ship. He's got a cool podcast his own self, and we did it not too long ago, but here he is. I'm going to bring him right out. Let's not waste any time. Another Chicagoan, my good friend Steve Mazan. There he is. Look, there he is live. Yeah, you're back. I knew it wouldn't. There you go. No big deal. What happened? Did you freeze?
Yeah. Your intro, your new intro, you said you have a new intro to the show.
Yeah.
The whole thing ran, and then right at the end, everything just froze, and I was this
froze.
Is the craziest intro ever.
Yeah, this sucks. Nothing happens. I just sit here.
This is really avant-garde.
This is so different. This doesn't seem like Lenny at all.
Keeping everyone guessing. What's going on?
Your buddy Josh B is here from Richmond, Virginia, man. He's on YouTube watching us right now, commenting. So he said he saw you on a He saw you on a military tour back in Iraq. I assume it was a military tour. He just said an Iraq tour. So I don't know if there were one-nighters out there you did, or if it was a military tour.
No, I think you got it. I did a couple of things. Al-Qaeda was paying well for a while, so I did a couple of those, and then it almost got canceled because of it. So switched sides, and yeah. So yeah, thanks Josh, for tuning in, and glad that
you look like the type of guy.
Nothing is better than seeing those guys you perform like in a war zone, and then you see them back home.
Yeah, no, I've seen that on a ship a bunch of times where somebody walks up and they're like, I saw you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And it's a cool connection moment, bro. It's a cool bonding. I want to do that tour really bad. I want to go out there and do that.
100%. It's the greatest.
I was going to say you look like the perfect guy to blend right in with Al-Qaeda. You look like you just look like any other Al-Qaeda. You know what I mean? Like no one would. Is that an American? No, that's 100% Al
No, they
Qaeda.
don't know at all. Yeah.
So how's it going, man? Are you?
I go by Steve Mazan.
Yeah.
I had a stage name. It was literally Al Qaeda was my stage name.
Okay, folks, give it up, please. Coming to the stage, Al Qaeda. People going nuts.
Al Qaeda.
People chanting your name. That's great.
Lenny, you've been doing comedy longer than I. I'm not saying that to date you. I say impressed wise that way. You came up in the legendary time when the big comedy boom. Have you ever? There's so many people with stage names. Have you ever come across a comic with the name Joe King?
Joe King. No.
I just always
think
a
stage
that would be
name?
a great comedy name, Joe King.
I had a stage name for a while when I started out.
Ooh,
Yeah, people give it was I.B. Leonard.
I.B. Leonard.
It's horrible. People give me so much shit for it. Very few people remember it because it literally was like my open mic starting out times. But every once in a while out here in LA, I'll run into someone and they'll go, IB! And I'll go, oh my God. I can't. And my brother Michael like, because he gives me so much crap for the stage name. I had this thing with initials for a while. Then I was L.A. Schmidt. I went with that.
Oh.
Yeah, but it was just, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking.
It's so funny because you're such a Chicago guy. So Lenny Schmidt is that's the perfect name.
I know.
For it.
Yeah, no. Well, I think I was in my early 20s. And I was just out in L.A. and I was living the L.A. thing. And, I was trying to be cool. For a while before I did comedy, I was working in the restaurant business. And I used to wear blazers with with the arms pushed up. Don Johnson, Miami Vice, Moonlighting, Bruce Willis. That was my look, spiked hair. I jumped all into it. So
what restaurant? What was
I worked for all kinds of restaurants, but I ran all the Little Caesars down in Orange County for a long time.
Were you wearing a blazer? You not to Little Caesars, right?
No, yeah, I was because I was the regional director or whatever. I ran literally like 13 stores, so I would drive from store to store and oversee. I mean, I started out as a dishwasher and I worked my way up.
Right.
I was young.
You worked your way up.
But I was too young for that job. It was a lot of responsibility. It was too much responsibility. I was barely 21. I ran all these stores. And back then there was.
Talked about this. Yeah. You moved up pretty quickly though.
I moved up really quickly. They were growing really fast, and I think they grew too fast for me because I just wasn't ready. And this was before internet and stuff. So like during payroll, when we had payroll, I had to physically drop off paychecks at every store on a Friday, which was a long day because I lived in San Clemente. So hey, Shauna Johnson's here! Yay, more people! All right, Shauna's here. Now we're cooking.
Hi, Shauna.
Yeah. Hi, Shauna. Steve says hi. Steve's in Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda.
Did you ever get to meet Mr. Caesar at Little Caesar? Did he?
Yeah. I met him a couple times. No, he doesn't. Oh, he kind of does look like that guy, actually. Yeah. I'm not kidding you. He's a little bit of short guy with a
little bit of a nose.
Yeah, a huge nose, and he owns the Red Wings and that arena. And when the Red Wings came to town, we always got free tickets to go see the Red Wings and stuff. He actually was a really cool guy. He was like a really good person to his staff and really good to his people.
Awesome.
And I heard really great stories about him. I guess there was a story about a woman that worked at the arena that he made sure she had insurance. I mean, there's some really good feel-good stories about him that were really cool.
Yeah,
and he was really nice when we met him. He took care of us. He was great, But I think that company grew too fast. I think all those Little Caesars out here now are a franchise. They're not company because he was trying to expand the company, kind of like Domino's did.
Yeah, I don't know if people remember this about Little Caesars. Their, for lack of a better word, the gimmick was you would buy one pizza and you get a second one. So you would never leave Little Caesars with one pizza.
No, you couldn't get one. They would order one pizza and we would go, we can't do that. It's gotta be two. Yeah.
It was the best.
Or what we used to do is somebody would order one pizza, we'd give them one pizza, but then charge them for one. But the same price is getting two. And they go, why can't you just give us half price? Because that's not what we do. Yeah, it was a weird argument, but very few people asked for one pizza. Like most people came in and we did these 4-packs. They did all kinds of shit. There were a couple of pizzas they did that actually it wasn't terrible. They weren't that bad. Even being from Chicago too, it was like, I'm real picky with pizza. So
yeah, no. We used to get it because it was cheap and you got two, and we ditch school and go to Little Caesars and play wiffle ball, and that was me. Instead of cool things like concerts and drugs, that was what I did.
That was your cool thing. You play
Little Caesars and wiffle ball.
This is living, man.
They're the rebels of the school.
Yeah. No, we used to ditch. We didn't do much. We just ditched and walked around the city. That's all we did.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't really into I mean, when I got in high school, we were drinking more. It was more booze than drugs or anything like that. But
Right.
we always got in trouble for ditching. We got ditching and then walk around the city all day. Normally, it wasn't ditching. What I used to do is I used to get suspended and not tell my mom. And then I would just pretend to go to school and walk around the city all day. And that's kind of how I killed time.
That's it. Well, people say this, you can't be a Cubs and a Sox fan. But I root for both because when I started as a Sox fan. My dad was a big Sox fan. We'd go to all the White Sox games. But then when I was a teenager, Wrigley still only had day games. So we'd ditch school and you could go watch a ball game every single day. It was awesome. And Wrigley's so fun. I started rooting for him.
Well, back then, you got to be, what, 15 years younger than me? How old were you at? Late 30s?
Yeah, early 50s.
Oh, you're early 50s?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, then you remember when Wrigley Field, the bleachers were $3 to get in.
Yeah, that's where we'd go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the CUB on us. Yeah.
And on Comiskey was Monday was half past night. You could get into the bleachers for $1.50. So,
I think you still can now, Comiskey.
Comiskey you can for sure. Yeah, they played a game there the other day with no fans. There were no fans in the first game of the doubleheader. Yeah, that's how great things are going on the south side. But yeah, it was $1.50, and beers were $1.50 back then. So and we had a beer guy in center field that never carded us. So you would for $20 you could go there and get hammered and watch baseball and hang out, and you can't do that now. You can't even get in the stadium for less than $20. Parking's $8.50, depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
Oh.
And even it's just skyrocketed. Even you include inflation, it's not the same.
Right. Yeah, right. It doesn't seem the parking thing is really screwed up. Like Dodger Stadium, I think is $30 to park. I think.
Right.
I haven't been there yet this year, but I know that USC games are $100 to park.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and that's like 4 blocks from the Coliseum or whatever.
There was a guy 2 doors down from me that he was a Cubs fan, and before I was a teenager, he would take me to Cubs. He didn't have kids, so he would take me. It's sounding creepy as I'm saying it. But
he would out loud. It doesn't sound great at all.
he would take me to the Cubs games, and but I remember him pulling up, and I think parking was $10. Like in the neighborhood, like someone would be like, "Park here for $10," and he would flip them off, and he'd be like, "Fuck you! I ain't paying $10." Right? And it sounds quaint now, right?
Yeah, $10 that's a steal. That's like a deal.
Yeah.
Well, that's why the cool thing about Chicago was when I lived in the city, you just took the L, man. You can take the L from one park to the other. You ever do that 2 games in one? You ever do the 2 for 1?
No, I never did that.
I've done it a couple of times. I used to live right by Wrigley, over behind the Wild Hare. Do you ever remember that place? There was a little reggae bar. I lived maybe a block behind it, and I would do the 2 for 1s a lot. I would do the Wrigley during the day and then get on the L and shoot over to Comiskey and catch the Sox game at night. And that was a blast, man. It'll be baseball all day.
That's awesome. What a cool thing.
Yeah, it's really cool. You should just hang out. So
like
how long
Chicago version of like LA going to the beach or the mountain. That's like knocking those 2 things out in Chicago. That's a great one.
Yeah, what sucks about LA is like there's no mass transit that can really take you to Dodger Stadium, I don't think. Right?
Yeah.
I think an Uber thing is a nightmare too. There's like an Uber lot. Plus, if you go into Dodger Stadium, that's one of the biggest pain in the ass stadiums to get in and out of. That ravine is insane.
Yeah, it's one of those. I love Dodger Stadium, but that's the downside of it is the getting there and getting in and out. It's 2 hours on each end of the game. But I've been there. Once you're there, I do like the field.
Oh, I love the field. I love the park. I love the field. It's a good vibe. All of it is cool. I've been a couple times and had the real kick-ass seats, the real badass down there in the dugout or whatever. Yeah. And like I know a guy who knows a guy. It's one of those deals. I've been there a handful of times. But when you do that, you just go sit in the bar right behind home plate and wait for traffic to die down. And that's
cool.
The way. That's the way to do it. You have 2 or 3 drinks. And everybody's in there. That's when celebrities are in there. You're just, you have a couple of drinks. It's the only way to do it. Otherwise, you're going to sit in the parking lot for hours.
Yeah, it's their version of the Forum Club kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's exactly. Yeah, right. Like from the show. Have you watched that show, the Lakers show, the Showtime?
I love it right now.
Dude, it's the best. I think it's great.
Best thing on TV. It's so good. Even if I've talked to a couple people who aren't even basketball fans, and they love it. Like it's just so well done. You don't have to be a basketball or a Lakers fan or anything.
Well, I like how they do they do a good job. The way they shoot it and present it is really good. The whole John C. Reilly to the camera stuff, all the to the camera stuff is great. You know what I mean? I love the way they break that down, and they'll do it behind the scenes, like a little. Every once in a while, somebody will break that third wall. You know,
Yeah.
like what they didn't know was ESPN was about to break out, and you're like, oh,
right,
no way.
right.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I eat it up.
Now,
it's really good.
Now that we're 2 seasons in, did you know the story about Will Ferrell wanted to play that role?
I did know that. Now, wait, there was a second season for that already?
Yeah. Oh my God, the second season's even better.
Oh, I haven't seen the second season.
Yeah, it's going.
Seriously?
I'm excited for you. There's about 6 episodes right now.
When did it come out? How did I miss this?
Maybe it started about a month and a half.
This is why I heard about it again. All right, I'll check it out. Yeah, there was a falling out with Farrell and McKay, right?
Right.
They were best. I mean, they ran Funny or Die together. They've been friends for years, but yeah, Farrell wanted that part and then didn't get it. And actually, John C. Reilly is fucking great at it. I mean,
he's killing it. He's killing it. I can't see Will Ferrell's fantastic, but I don't think he could do what John C. Reilly's doing with it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. You know what I mean? So I think it's good. Now I'm excited. I've been dying to figure out. I just ran out of shows to watch, and like I watched Foundation. That's all done now, and then I watched some other stuff that just wrapped up, and I've been looking for different shows to watch. So good. I'll download all that shit. I'll bring it with me on the ship.
You scab! I can't believe you're even watching TV.
I feel bad. You know what? I'm not going to watch Bill Maher now, though. I love Bill Maher's show big time. I used to watch it all the time, but I'm really pissed about that. I'm really kind of annoyed about that. Especially
it's so crazy when these guys, make these big complaints and claim all these morals and ethics, and then and they go right across. I mean, Jon Stewart did it back in the day,
and I know there's a couple other daytime shows that did it, and this bullshit that will honor the strike, will honor the writers. But the whole point is striking is supposed to take content away from them, taking content away. You know, what I mean? That's the whole effect, right?
Yeah. You're not helping by doing that.
But I'm really surprised I'm surprised Maher's doing it. I really am. It just seems weird to me.
Yeah, especially he's always had a bit of a it's funny because he's not religious, but he's got a bit of a holier than thau attitude, and then
right.
For him
I know some of these guys getting like Taylor, and I know like I've read some of the stuff they're asking for, like I mean, as far as like I don't think you necessarily need to have 8 writers in a writer's room. That seems a little crazy to me. You know, and if Taylor Sheridan can write a whole episode, why shouldn't he be able to write a whole episode? They're like, it seems a stupid argument to me that, well, you need to have other writers. That means more writers can learn to write and go on to other shows. And I'm like, well, fuck those other shows. Why ruin the creativity of this one show, this guy that's successful, and then handcuff him and go, okay, now you've got to have 7 writers that are going to talk to you and ruin your flow and fuck with your scripts and give you a headache, even though all the shows you put up have been really successful to now.
Yeah, 100%. It seems like a weird time. And again, as much as I swore that they choosing now to go on strike when, the economy's not doing great and stuff like that. Like things are going good. It's hard when I guess they had fired a bunch of people in the industry, or cut back, like administrative jobs and stuff like that in the offices just months before. So
because after post-COVID, they changed the way they did a lot of things anyway post-COVID. So there was a lot of things. They don't need people on the lower tiers. Like there's certain, instead of having like now a lot of places don't have craft service people anymore. They have a table that's set up and people leave. You know what I mean? Like I've done productions where there have been 4 people there, or at least 2 craft service people. One person preparing things all the time, another person working the table. They don't do any of that anymore. Or some sets don't do that. I lost your volume, buddy. Married with Children, they'd grab the bunny ears with aluminum foil. Oh, Fox viewing positions. I get it. Now it makes sense. That makes total sense. You're back. Yay! Steve is back again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, audio, video, the whole thing, man. You're back. Whatever it is you did over there, you fixed it.
Okay.
All right,
great.
We're back.
Sorry about that.
Hey, Rachel's here too. Check out the viewer numbers. What's going on? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How many viewers
Hi, Rachel.
are there? Oh my God, you're right. Why are there so many viewers? That can't be right. Oh, okay. We got a lot of viewers for some reason, and not everyone's commenting. Now I feel bad. I thought it was just 2 people.
That's probably why my sound went out there. So many viewers.
Wiped out. Viewers. Thanks for tuning in, viewers. I apologize for not noticing how many viewers there were. Now there's more viewers. Let's get back to what we were talking about. Steve is a comic. I'm a comic, and Steve runs his very own podcast. Who was on? Who'd you do this week? What movie? Steve does a podcast where they review a movie from the past, something we've watched before. I did Fletch with him weeks ago. And what was your movie this week? Yeah. What'd you do this week?
Listen, we just did. This is so funny because this is a movie people hadn't. It's called Stardust.
Oh
Have you
God,
heard
I
of
think
it?
I remember this movie. Yeah.
So it's got Robert De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer, Claire Danes, Neil Gaiman, who's one of the hottest screenwriters out there, and he writes a bunch of fantasy novels and stuff and science fiction. And it was adapted, but the marketing was bad, or it came out at the same time as something else. But so many people had not seen this movie, and then they watched it this week, and they're like, "Oh my God, thanks for turning me on." I was late to the game too. I only heard about it like maybe 10 years ago, but it came out way back in 2007.
Wow. I don't think I know I haven't seen it. I got to watch it for
it's
sure.
really
All right.
it's really good.
All right.
You
Who's
like
the
Princess
comic?
Bride?
I love Princess Bride. Did you see the second one?
No. Is there
Yeah,
something on?
Well, there's a second one that's kind of a different angle where they change it around where it's a princess instead of a prince. I don't know exactly. It's kind of a remake. I never saw it. I'll be honest with you, but I saw it on my feed when I was going through movies to watch. It was being advertised. Like, do you want to watch this? And I'm like, no. I love the original. Is one of the greatest. I love that movie. It's a great, great, great movie.
This Stardust is in the vein of Princess Bride. It's that kind of thing. It's like a fantasy fairy tale movie, but all humorous. So yeah, it's very
good. Then I'll watch it for sure. I love that. I love that vibe.
And like I said, one of De Niro's. I'll go with this. I'm going to be bold here. De Niro's best performance of the 21st century.
What? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Of the 21st century?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's bold, man. That includes
this week Rocky 2.
Oh, that's a badass movie. I love Rocky 2.
So you know what inspired me is I'm reading this book by Tarantino, and he talks about all the movies he saw growing up that influenced him. So he's not like choosing movies like this is the best movie.
Right.
He's just talking about him, and he has this theory. Tell me what you think about this. If you like the movie Rocky, you think the first Rocky is the best movie of the series. But if you like the character of Rocky Balboa, you think the second one is the best movie because they go much deeper into his character and his life.
Oh, that's a really interesting point of view. I don't know where I stand on that because I love both movies, but Rocky 2 is great, and they both definitely had like a different feel, like a different flavor.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know all the stories behind
cool.
Rocky, right? He wrote that, and they didn't want him to do it, and he stuck to his guns. He's responsible for his whole fucking career. That's pretty badass. That's really badass when you think about that.
It's his whole thing. He bet on himself for sure.
Yeah, and he nailed it, and he was right. Once that came, and then Rambo after that, and then it was off. He was off. You know what I mean? Then he just did whatever he wanted to do. But he was right because he could have, he took way less money to do it himself. He could have sold it for more money. I mean, it was just a gamble, and but it was it's a great screenplay. It's a great screenplay.
You forget Stallone became such almost a cliche of himself a little bit. Like you could do a Stallone, everyone could do a Stallone impression, and you had an idea of a Stallone movie. But I mean, he wrote the first movie, he wrote and directed the second movie, and they're really Cobra and stuff like that. He's really talented.
Right. No, it was impressive though. Rocky 2 though, when you watch that one, we always joke about it. You got to suspend disbelief at some point during the fight because there's a point where Clubber Lang hits him. Or no, Clubber Lang's in 3, right?
3, yeah.
Okay, it's the third one then. The third one there's points when he hits him 75 times in a row and with no response. You know what I mean? Where we counted, where it's just and Stallone's going like this. It's just it's a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot to take. So the first two were so powerful because it was the whole Apollo Creed thing, and then the comeback, and then beating him Apollo Creed in that second one was pretty badass. It was a great. Both movies are just phenomenal.
No, I mean, is there any movie like that's a movie experience like going to see Rocky in the theater? Like,
no. It's a real. It's a total. It's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Although I got a pretty and it's not. Although it wasn't. I don't think it was the theater. No, it was the theater movie. Was it called Miracle? The one with the one about the hockey team that beat Russia?
Yes. Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. That was that's
Kurt
Russell that plays the coach in that, right?
Yep.
Great one.
Great one.
I mean, it's pretty badass too, but it's an exact you know when he has them doing the sprints or whatever, those kids are thrown up on the ice.
Again.
I mean, it's harsh. Yeah, again. It just keeps
Again.
it over and over again. It's just it's just badass. It's badass. Hey, Brendan and Keith are here. Both of them. How are you guys? Thanks for being here. Josh B agrees with you that Stardust is a good movie, so I'm gonna have to see Stardust for sure.
You watch it. You know what? Watch it with your daughters, Lenny.
Okay, it's hard for me to get them. Hard for me to get them to do that. They have boyfriends now. I'm not as important as I was a week ago. I had the tiger. That's right. Who else is? And Rachel's here. Rachel, how you doing, man? How you feeling? She had surgery. I'm checking with her.
Oh, sorry, good. Rachel.
Yeah, but she's here. Looks like she's good. All right, man. We have good viewers. Yeah, I'm gonna watch. I'll download Stardust for sure to watch on this next cruise. I leave tomorrow night for a ship, so I'll bring Stardust and all the Showtime shows with me. That should be plenty of stuff to watch.
I guarantee you'll love it.
Yeah, I know. I love the Laker thing, but I love that. Man, I always like that. I like that supernatural stuff. Like even shows and stuff. I'm a big fan of The Expanse, and I've been watching, like I mentioned, The Foundation earlier. They just wrapped up their second season. I watched that last night, and I love all that stuff. I love that weird, space. I just love that shit. Supernatural, anything that's could like where it could be real and you don't know years from now, and whatever sci-fi, whatever you want to call it. So,
yeah.
She's still like Mickey Mouse. Where do you? How long are you home for? When do you go? Do you have another ship coming up, or what do you got going on?
I'm home for a month and a half or so. My wife's on a little vacation right now, so
nice.
Yeah, I'm getting some time by myself. So took some time off, and I don't think till November. So actually, you know what? I do another military tour in November.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and perform for the troops over there, and no, I don't think till December is the next time I'm on a cruise.
Good, that's great. Good for you, bro. No, that's nice. Yeah. It's nice to be home. Nice to be home for a while, man. Especially now, it's a good time of year to be home when it's starting to cool off here a little bit. It's not so hot and shitty in LA.
I was thinking, I don't know if you know this about Lenny, but I was on a. Did I tell you this before? So I was thinking the other day, I wonder if from cruises I have more time at sea on comedy or more time at sea when I was in the Navy. I was trying to
try to do the math. How many years were you in the Navy?
5 years, but only 4 of it was when I was on the submarine. So,
God damn it, you were on a submarine.
It's hard to figure the sea days.
Dude, I don't know if I could do a submarine. That would freak me out.
Everyone says that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's rough.
They do like psychological tests, make sure you're not going to freak out and all that stuff.
I bet. No, they would have to. I would freak out. I would fail that test in a heartbeat. I really would. I can't.
You know what? Where they had that German U-boat at the Science and Industry.
Yeah.
Where it's one long hallway like Das Boot. They're much.
I remember that. Yeah. I didn't like that. I wasn't happy with the little. Even when I know it's totally safe, and like I won't get in a submarine at a museum. I'm like, okay, it looks great from the outside. It looks great. I don't want to get in there.
The ones now, the modern day ones, have as much room as like your house.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, that makes more sense. They got to make them bigger down there so they're more comfortable.
So you can't go outside, but so it just doesn't feel as closed in like that.
Yeah, but I could do that because I could almost mentally. It's like being on a ship. I could mentally prepare myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's also It's a total mental thing. I always compare it to. This sounds silly. I compare it to like going to jail, kind of. I mean, it's not like you're in jail, but if you mentally go, I'm in jail for 10 years, then you'll adjust to your life. Everybody adjusts to the situation. Everybody adjusts to the situation around them. If you live in a country where there's war, I don't want to have war. Well, yeah, but now you have war, so you have to live. Shit. Look at COVID was a good example of that on some levels. Nobody expected our lives to be us in our houses for 6 months or whatever it was. But we adjusted, we got through it, and you're like, oh wow, okay, I guess I figured it out.
100%. It's like Josh, who's listening, would back up on this. The military is very much like jail because you do the same thing. You're like, how long you in for? How much time you got left?
Yeah, and there's always someone telling you what to do, right? In the military, there's always somebody in charge of you. At least in a ship, like for us especially, we can go. You can ignore or whatever. Or if you had COVID, you kind of lived in your own house, but you did your own thing. You know what I mean? I slept when I wanted. I drank when I wanted. I ate when I wanted. I did whatever I wanted to do. It's all that military discipline that fucked me up.
Yeah, that'll get in the way.
Yeah.
We had one time we were doing. I got a funny story for you from it. So the whole idea of a sub, of course, is to be, the silent service they call it. But one time we had stopped in Puerto Rico, and they let us buy rum. You could get each crew member could get up to 4 bottles of rum. So by the time everyone got one, we probably had like 400 bottles of rum. So you need somewhere. Space is very valuable on a submarine. So because we weren't at war, we put them in one of the torpedo tubes. There's 4 torpedo tubes. We put it in like number 3, and we were doing drills like 4 days later. And again, the whole idea is to be quiet. And this guy who was running the drill, not the captain, but had the officer. He accidentally, in the drill said, "Flood torpedo tube 3," and the whole boat yelled, "No!" So I think whoever we were playing games with found us pretty quickly. Yeah.
Did they flood the torpedo? Did they flood the torpedo?
No, he ended up because he.
Oh, everybody stopped him?
Because everyone yelled.
Let's go. No, the rum.
But yeah.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Yeah. It was kind of fun. I mean, it was one of those things I couldn't wait to get out, but now I look back kind of romantically,
Well, what years were you in what years?
1994 is when I was on the sub.
Oh, wow. Okay. God, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's 30 years ago. 30 years ago.
I know. It's crazy.
Wow.
I think about it sometimes. I could have been retired now.
Yeah. If you stayed in the military.
If I did the whole. Could have done 30.
I always think about that. I have a lot of friends who are cops, and a lot of them are 10 years younger than me, and a lot of them retire. And some of them retired, and then they were cops in Chicago, retired, moved to Florida, and became sheriffs down there. And now they work down there. And I know a couple of guys that have done both and retired. Been in and out. They retired Will County, went down to Florida, just finished up Florida, retired there. And now they do security on the sides. They got 2 pensions coming in, But I mean, they worked for it, But I'm like, God, I wish I would have thought of that. I've been chasing shit for 35 years, and just doing whatever I do.
Johnson Blazer, you could have done.
Yeah, I did, man. I thought I had it all figured out back then. Josh was in for 12 years, man. He's been out for 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
More time out than in.
And and Robin's here now. Robin Greenberg's here. We got a lot of viewers, man. Here's what I did when I put this up. I plugged the show to my fans and my Patreon, and I gave you the link, and I put it up on YouTube, and I forgot to make it private. So anybody can go on YouTube and watch this right now. So there you go. That's why we have more viewers than I actually thought. No one's commenting. 87 people now are watching the show, but a handful of people are making comments. But I will still edit this and put it back up Tuesday, and I'll probably edit out the frozen part.
Yes, yeah. Get rid of.
And the podcast will come out a little cleaner as well. So that's how we're going to do it. But I'm glad you're here today. This is good, man. This is awesome. This works out great. So now, when's your next podcast? You have it, and what's the name of your podcast? Let's plug it too, so people.
It's called the Mazan Movie Club, and the idea is it's like a book club for people who don't read. So then
which was perfect for me.
Yeah. Then the people like yourselves, you're a guest, but people watch the movie. I usually pick something that's streaming so that they get it, on Netflix or Prime. Right. People share their thoughts, and I share those on the podcast and with a guest as well.
Nice. Right on.
So it's kind of like I said, like a book club for movies.
Dude, it's a great idea, man, because everybody can watch the movies now, and it's so easy to find them now. Something's streaming everywhere. Yeah. It's not that difficult to go on any platform and grab something.
Yeah. And then I've had some people, like, once they discover a movie, even if they're not following along on the podcast, they'll be like, oh, I just watched this movie for the first time. Let me see what these guys thought of it. It's like when if you can go listen to the podcast and feel like you discussed a movie with someone after you watched it.
Yeah, that's just like a book club. It's dead on like a book club. It's perfect.
It's how you get it.
What's cool too is like look at Stardust is a great example. It's a movie I heard of but I've never seen. I'll probably go watch it. And then a lot of times you watch movies like that and that turns you on to other writers, directors, and other actors. There have been tons of times where I've seen an actor where I go, I got to see this guy in something else. and you start to check out their body of work.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, this is cool.
To that example, the guy who directed Stardust, it was really his first big movie. He had done a movie before in England that was a smaller movie, but that was his first relatively big movie. And then he went on and he did the movie Kick, kind of movie with Nicolas Cage
movie what?
and a little girl.
Which one?
Kick-Ass.
Oh, okay. I do remember that. Yeah. All right.
And then The Kingsman, which is one of my favorites. Do you remember?
Oh,
The Kingsman?
I love the kid. All right. Yeah, that's cool. That's badass.
Yeah. So it's the same writers and directors.
Well, did we talk about Fletch was it the same director or writer that did Beverly Hills Cop? Was that correct? Is that what we said? Or I can't remember.
I don't think it ended up being the same director, but they were about the same time.
Well, it was about the same. The style was so similar because it was the same. It's funny how a movie, whatever, it's Hollywood. Movie comes out and then a million movies like it come out, you know?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, same stuff, that same kind of music, the electronic, you know. Bam, bam, bam. I think that's what it was. It might even had Harold Faltermeyer or whoever did Axel F might have done the Fletch, thing as well.
Oh, the music.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
If you can listen to a soundtrack and know it's an 80s movie within about four beats.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You're like,
100%.
oh, that's a detective movie from 84. You just know immediately.
100%. It's the best. We've had a couple episodes where we'll do that. We'll play a song and see if you can guess what movie it's from, kind of thing, like something.
Oh, that's cool. I like that, dude.
Yeah.
That's a good runner. You should do that for sure. One whole episode, you should do that. Just different songs.
That's what we did. See if you can guess it, and where does it? So many, especially in the '80s, so many great songs came from movies that people don't even realize today. Yeah.
Right. So you came from Chicago, dude. How long you been married, man? How long? I don't know if we covered that or discussed it when I met you.
17 years.
Oh my God.
17 or 18 years. I think this will be 18. And coming up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on. And she's good with the
Yeah,
travel
it's all
thing? Look at you.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
all right.
Look, it's fine.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But let's not oversell it.
Yeah. How is she good with
no, it's great. Yeah, she knew when I met her. I was a comedian already, obviously, at that point. And, I kind of, everyone I was dating at that point, like I kind of up front said, like, hey, I'm gone a lot. Either have to be up for this or you're not. And she was. So I think it's helpful. Probably the closest we ever came to not making it was during the quarantine when I was home too much.
Yeah. That's the old baseball wives theory. There's a big story about baseball players when they retire.
Yeah.
The hardest time is right after they retire because they're gone all year. And then she's like, "Why are you here? You're fucking with my vibe. I got a whole thing going on."
There's some sort.
Yeah, I had to. My ex, when I was a comic for 10 years when I got married, and she knew. I told her, I travel, and it didn't matter.
Right.
It didn't help us at all.
You never realize. Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't very. She would complain. Why do you travel? I go, I fucking told you.
This is
what I do. Okay, good. Now we got a question for you, Steve. Hold on. Ever do something like? This is interesting. Do you ever do something like Mystery Science Theater 3000 where you live stream watching a movie and make comments during the podcast?
I've done that because of the podcast. I've run into other people who do movie podcasts and other kind of things. So
Right.
I've been a part of other people who do that. But I'm bad technically. Look, I screwed up the sound. I froze here at the beginning of the thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes adding too much to the show
Right.
is
Like
too much. So
you found your level and you just kind of staying in your
my
lane, so to
level,
speak. Yeah.
I'm going to watch a movie. I'm going to hit record and record me and one other person talking about it, and then
Smart.
share the thoughts of the people who send me their thoughts. But no, I love that. And Mystery Science Theater is one of my favorite. I think one of the greatest shows of all time.
Right.
It's
a
so
great
good.
show. Yeah.
It's so original. That's like the Rocky story. Those guys started in Minnesota local access TV and blew that thing up.
Right. Yeah, and then it just became huge. Yeah, that was a big deal. Colleges loved that show for a long time. Everybody watched that show.
Yeah. Did you? We were talking about jobs. Just you doing another job. Did you? I bartended through college. Did you ever bartend?
Never bartended. I was always in pizzas or delivering food or kitchens. I was doing sous chef stuff, and I was a chef. I tried to stay away from the I was always good in kitchens, but the problem is if I was like if they want to hire me as a chef, I would needed a job that was flexible, and delivery was the most flexible thing that I ever could find because I could find someone to cover it and I could get out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I never wanted to screw over a guy. Like, there was a place in Venice, a barbecue joint I worked at. They wanted me to be a cook there, and I go, I don't want to be a cook, but I'll do the deliveries because I didn't want to. Because I knew if an audition came up on a Friday, I would blow them off and go do the audition.
Yeah, you got to go.
And I didn't want to put myself in that position, so I kind of got away from that. But it was always something I could cover. But I never did bartending. I never did. I never got probably because I drank a lot. I probably think
that's what
that would have killed me if I was a bartender. I'd probably be dead if I was a bartender. I was a bar back.
Happens to a lot of people.
Happens
to a lot of people for sure.
Yeah, I know. I knew lots of people. My ex was a bartender for a while. And,
awesome.
Yeah, and I was a bar back in a couple places. So I worked door at some places. But even those places, huh?
Is that how you met her at the bar?
No, I met her in acting class. We did the Improv Olympic together. And we were in an improv group together, and she came and saw me do stand up, and I played the Funny Bone in Naperville once, and brought her with me for St. Valentine. It was Valentine's Day. I said I'll do the show, then we'll go out to dinner and do all this stuff. And they got slammed. They were understaffed and stuff. And she goes, I could offer to help. Do you want me to help? I go, if you want. And so she offered to help, and they hired her on the spot. She worked that night, and then before you knew it, she was the bar manager. And so I used to work there a lot, and she would and then she worked at bars downtown, and so she became a bartender through comedy, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. That's my. You can make good money bartending, obviously, and it depends on the bar and stuff. But it just the fun of it. It was so fun if you get to do it the right place. I was doing it in college, and it was in the mid '90s, so the Bulls were on all the time. Got to
yeah, that had to be cool. That'd be a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
Well, she was a bartender at a lot of places in downtown Chicago, and once you were in that circle, you went from bar to bar. I always got in. I rarely paid for a drink. You knew everybody. Yep. You always stayed after close. When a bar closed at 2, they would lock up the doors, and they would just go, don't go near the door. And you would drink till 5 or 6 or whatever. Once you were in the circle.
Yeah, they close the shade so no one gets me.
Yeah, close everything up so nobody saw. But she made bank, man. There were nights when they were great, and there were days that were shit, of course. But there were certain days where, New Year's Eve, she would pull in like $1,500.
Crazy.
Between her and me on New Year's Eve, she would work the floor and I would do the show. I mean, the two of us would make a ton of money on New Year's Eve. I'd do the, we'd come home, she'd have cash.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you can make great, a right bartending place, man. With the right tips, you're making bank money.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, tough. You're standing all day. You're reaching. You get lots of problems as you get older. But it was a great show. I got a funny bartending story for you. So you were saying, you get to know that's a bartender. Obviously, you got to have a good eye. Remember your regular. So there was this guy that would come in. I was a little older because I went in the Navy first. So it was a college bar. So all the waitresses and other people were like 4 years younger, early 20s. I was mid 20s. So. But this guy would come in all the time. And I remember what he did. He'd have a shot of Jack and a Miller High Life. And he would come in all the time, and I couldn't remember his name. And the waitresses hated him because they thought he was kind of creepy. He was like in his early 30s. And he would always try and do that. Like he'd try and stay after it closed and everything. But he was hitting on the waitresses. They didn't like him.
Right.
They got a weird vibe from him. So they were always like, don't let him. Anyway, and I couldn't remember his name. And so I would be giving him the like, what's up, buddy? Hey,
hey, pal. Hey. Yeah, right. What's up, dude? I would change the subject.
Like before he said anything, I'd just be like, I got your drinks, before he, So he would come in and be like, hey, Steve. And I'd be like, hey, how's it going? I would never, and like a month, I could tell. I got a pretty good vibe that he was picking up that I wasn't saying his name ever.
Right.
So he comes in one time. I see through the window. He's parking his car, and my friend Karen, who's waitressing for us. I go, Karen, what's this guy's name? And she goes, oh, I hate that guy. I go, I know, but what's his name? I think it's Dave. And I go, what? Like, how confident? She goes, 50-50. I go, well, that's not
good at
enough. So he walks in the front door, and I do the thing. I get the drink for him to kind of get him off the topic. And I was like, hey, got your drinks up here? And he goes, what's up, Steve? I go, hey, buddy. And he lights a cigarette. He puts on a big smoke. Like, he goes, have I been coming in here? I go, oh, you know, a year at least. And he's like, you know what I drink? I go, yeah. He goes, but you don't know my name, do you? And I went all in, Lenny. I go,
yes.
What are you talking about? And he goes, what's my name? And I go, Dave. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry.
Ah, yeah, you got it right. Nice job. Good for you.
I feel bad because I was the jerk, but I made him feel bad.
Yeah, don't feel. I hope he watches the show and he's like, I knew it.
He knew it.
That motherfucker lied to me.
He took a guess.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's funny because I've done that before and I've been right and I've been wrong. Like I've been wrong a couple of times.
Oh, you went both sides.
Oh, I've been both on that. I did just one recently on a ship. I go, Caitlin. And she's like, Katie. Yeah. I go,
that was close enough, though.
That was pretty close. Now we go, I just met you. It's not like we're friends. It's not like a year of him coming in to get drinks from you.
Yeah, and it's a version of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Dave's not here. That's one of the guys. Dave's not here.
Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here, man. Well played, Keith Runyon. Nice. Someone keeps pointing out we have over 100 viewers and only 10 likes. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I don't think it's good. So,
whoever's
like the video,
watching, like it.
I think I think the algorithm is accidentally playing me on feeds that shouldn't be seeing it.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know how YouTube works. Dude, I've been trying to build this thing forever. See, here we go. My vid score is 4.8. I got a whole breakdown of it right here. That's hilarious. All right, man. I'm good. Dude, let's wrap this up. I think we're good, man. We're about an hour in. Thank you for coming here, man. Thanks. I'm going to edit it up.
Yeah, sorry for the freezing, but yeah, it's been fun to be on.
No, it was cool. It was no big deal. It was perfect, man. It's the lurkers. Josh says it's the lurkers. Josh is more in touch with YouTube than I am. That makes more sense. Thank you, Josh. And thanks for tuning in, Josh. I appreciate it, man. That was awesome of you. Thank you for coming here today.
Thanks, Josh. Obviously.
Yeah, and thanks everybody, all the followers that are here, man. Robin and the Runyons are here on all their accounts. 6 of these viewers are the same people. So, but I'll take it.
Thank you.
Keith Runyon, Brenda Runyon.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Lenny?
Say whatever you want.
You mentioned that originally this was everyone can watch, but it was the configuration was supposed to be just a special Patreon thing. So the people who tuned in, the lurkers, just be on the up and up. Go to the Patreon now and subscribe and send Lenny some money.
Yeah, I think that seems reasonable as well. Thank you very much. We're down to 8 viewers. We're down to 8 viewers, just like that. They all stopped watching immediately. Oh my God! But dude, I can see the numbers spinning down.
That's how you get them out at the end of the night. It's the old bartender trick.
Oh,
you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
That's right. Now they're here. To the Patreon followers that are here, guys, thank you for tuning in, man. This is cool. This was the first Patreon only one. I'm sorry, the second Patreon only one. The first one was from Cozumel a week and a half ago, and it crashed and burned horribly because of the Wi-Fi feed. But today, no problems except for Steve's Wi-Fi. Mine was fine. Steve's was the problem. Yeah, it was Steve's bad. But thank you for tuning in, man. Thanks for being here as always. The next this show will stream on Tuesday. You'll be able to see it. And the next live one for everyone is going to be Jimmy Pardo on the 17th of October. But there will be another Patreon one. I have to check the schedule and see where I can do it and from what port. I'm going to try and do it in Alaska, but that's a little difficult. But we will have another one. I'll on Patreon. Thanks for tuning in. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Watch Steve's podcast. What's it called again? The Mazan Movie what?
The Mazan Movie Club.
Mazan Movie Club. Go check it out and watch his check out his podcast and his Facebook page and all that stuff. Thanks for being here, guys. Take care. I'll see you. Bye. All right, we're done streaming. Dude, thank you. That was great.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties. I thought I was so excited when you said we got off to a thing. I wasn't paying attention, so I was like, oh, I elbowed something. So
nah, no big deal. It all worked, man. It all worked out. And then I'll clean it up when I put it up Tuesday. It'll be cleaner. It'll look better. But it's good. It was perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate you changing the day too at the last minute. That was cool. So.
Of course. Happy. Love doing it. So, yeah, and thank you for being on my podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah. No, anytime. I'll do it again, too, when we get a chance. Hopefully I see you out there somewhere, man. Be careful.
Don't forget, right? Stardust. You'll love it. I'm
I'll do it. I'm
guaranteeing
going to download it now. I'm going to download it so I can bring it with me and watch it on the ship. I think that'll be great. It sounds like it's right up my alley. I would love to see that. Perfect.
Yeah, then let me know your thoughts.
All right, brother. Thanks.
Okay, later, bud.
All right, bye. You're still watching? That's amazing. Nobody does that. Nobody, but you did. That means you want more. Pick one of these clips. Go for it. I dare you. Hey, also follow one of those social media thingies.